I had a dad and a grandfather that loved the outdoors. My grandpa Milo was a huge fisherman and a huge duck hunter. I remember as a little kid, I was his little shadow. We did backpacking, horsebacking trips into the Bob and into the North Fork of the Sun, and you know, every year we did that. And I mean, those are some of the fondest times. We'd go out to freeze out. I'd be on his back, and we'd go to those muskrat mounds, and that made an indelible imprint in my head. You know, it just goes back to my experience when I was a kid and hunting with my dad and grandfather, and then hunting throughout my, you know, 20s, 30s, and 40s, and then having children, and just keep that tradition going on. And I think any outdoor person has seen an animal or a bird in action. And I think sometimes we can close our eyes, and that moment in time, that you can close your eyes and you can see that. Or that big rooster coming out. It's in the, you know, a windrow, or it's in the shelter belt, or it's by a, you know, wheat field, or out of a bunch of cattails. I mean, you can just see that if you've seen it before. I've been fortunate enough to be able to take that mental image and create it. I was just brand new, squeaky new to this thing, so I went to the art show here in town, and I was trying to find a wood carver. So I'm just, you know, lickety-split, and I'm all excited, and because I want to learn. And you know, if you're going to ask someone, what do you think, you know, you better be prepared for them saying it looks like crap. And I wasn't there yet. I said, "Hi, I'm Tom Dean," and he said his name, and I said, "Hey, I just like some pointers. You know, I just did this fish, and if you can give me any pointers." And he said, "Oh yeah, boy, well, your dorsal fin is not in the right place. Your adipose fin, well, that's not a good one. Your pectoral and your anal fins, no, you're way out of proportion here. I don't like the mouth." I mean, he just, and since I went to him, you know, I didn't say anything other than, "Well, thank you, I appreciate it." Walked out of the room, and I called Patty and I said, "I am done. I'm done. I'm crushed." Almost to the verge of tears, because this guy just chopped me down to the ankles. And, but you know what? It was the greatest learning thing for me. And I did think I was going to stop doing this, because, you know, I was kind of that fragile flower at the beginning. But he taught me a lesson that your family and your friends are kind of obligated to tell you that you're doing great work. But when you get out into the general public, it's open game. People can say anything, and it's their right to say that. But that was a big lesson. Yeah, that was a huge lesson. My dad, he's the brilliant artist. I never did art at all. I never did any woodworking, never did anything like that. It was just by happenstance that I am doing this now. And how it really came about is I left a job as a pharmaceutical rep in August of '05. And so I was purposely unemployed for 8 months. During that time, it was the best time of my life because McKellen and Mackenzie were little, and I got to spend tons of time with them, like bringing them to school, picking them up, and it was just a great, great time. And my dear wife, Patty, you know, she has a good job as a physical therapist. So it allowed for me to do that while looking for a new job. I came out here and I'm like, well, what do I do, you know? Well, God, we need a coat rack. At that time, was doing just profile fish, just a board. And I'd hand draw them, and they're all pine boards from Home Depot, which cracks me up. And I'd put the pegs straight out so any slick thing, coat just slides right off. So that was terrible. But I kept coming back into the garage, and I became more curious in if I could do a better fish. And, you know, over the next, you know, seven months, I kept coming back into the garage, and I got more curious about it. And then I got a job as a device rep, and then after surgeries, I find myself coming back into the garage. And I would be out here at 5 in the morning prior to surgery, you know, early in the morning, just for a couple hours. So I became obsessed with doing this. Literally, I did. And that's really how it all started. And then, you know, I did think the gallery direction was the way to go, because every other artist, that's how they sell their work. So it was down in Big Sky, the Painted Pony Gallery, and I made three big fish and all these cattails going for a dragonfly. And that was my first event, and it ended up selling really well, and that's it sold for $28,500. And the light really went on. We sat down, we wrote a marketing plan, and so I knew my customer, and I knew I wasn't going to make a living of selling my work, in town in Great Falls, or even in the state of Montana. My market was going to be outside of Montana, and it sure enough was. And so we wrote the business plan, we got a line of credit, we set up an S-Corp, a year's worth of salary. We got that amount in case this art thing didn't work out well. And on June 6th of 2008, I cut ties with my orthopedic company, and the rest is history, and I haven't looked back. you know, I'd really like to have my kids be proud of me, really, you know, because it's all about your children and it's all about your family, and you know, at the end of the day, they're the people that you love the most and respect the most. But I just want to do the best work I can, and I mean that sincerely. It really has been about McKellen and Mackenzie and Patty. I mean, it really has. You know, because they're the people that mean the most.